Okay, we're back. So cliffhanger, go ahead, finish.
All right, as I was saying in the last video, he even says in an issue, someone's like talking about how he's a funny guy all the time. He's like, yeah, I just use that to hide my insecurities. And that's like 100% true. Like, it's true. Like, that's also true about Spider-Man. You know, like Spider-Man, he fights and he like has all these comic quips, but he's doing that to make himself look more confident than he is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I always really like that about him. So.
Yeah. I think that was kind of one of the aspects that I missed for years with Spider-Man, especially. I didn't get it more till recently, but I don't know. I think that was kind of the reason I always liked Deadpool better. Was, they both kind of had that thing to hide their insecurities, but Deadpool seemed to, and he was always hiding his insecurities with it. But when Spider-Man would go back to being Peter Parker, those insecurities would be real evident. He'd be, kind of quiet and shy at sometimes. Yeah, later on they developed his character more, but it was always the thing I loved about Deadpool. He was always just, I'm gonna laugh. Except for, like early issues when he'd freak out when they tore his mask off. Yeah. Or he'd go ballistic and kill everyone.
That's the thing about Deadpool too, is Deadpool never stops being Deadpool.
Yeah.
Like, he has his alter ego Wade Wilson, but he never really uses it, So,
yeah.
Even when he's hanging out in his apartment, he's wearing his mask. So.
All right, moving on. So next to David Hayter, next both recommended, whereas the two of us together.
Oh, that would be a disaster.
I think the fanboys would geek out. It'd be like the best fanboy film ever, and like the regular media would hate it.
The fanboys would love it, but the critics and everyone else would be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. and I gotta admit, guys, I'm all in all at writing stuff, I'm not all that funny. The majority of my videos are literally, like I'll go in with like 3 or 4 ideas, maybe like 6 or 7 lines, and then I ad-lib like 90% of it. Mm-hmm. And so when it comes to writing some of the stuff down, I'm sure most of my stuff would come out really corny and bad.
Yeah.
And then I'd just be like, Ryan, ad-lib everything, it'll be fine.
Yeah, like there are a couple points in my films that are ad-lib too. Like, and it's always the parts that kind of stand out too. Like when in one of the episodes when he's fighting the Hydra guards, he teleports in and like does the Terminator theme. We just came up with that on the spot. Like there are a couple other things like that, like where like I'll just say something that just comes out of left field. Like I kind of feel like my brain works in sort of the same way that Deadpool's does too, because like I often hear the two voices like just rambling about stuff. Like they're not doing anything in particular, but they're just like arguing, and I'm like trying to. I'll be like, "Hey guys, I'm trying to think." Like it sounds crazy. I'm not crazy, I promise. Maybe a little, but yeah. So like, there's always just stuff like that comes out. But like the things about my films is like they're like 10 minutes long. Can you imagine how one of these films would be like if it was like 2 hours? It'd be really, really hard to fill all that time.
Yeah. Oh, no kidding. Especially my part, it'd be like, we'll just do constant farts and sex jokes. All right. So, I would be honored if they'd ask me. I'd be like, well, hire someone else, but I'll consult.
Yeah. I would love to be. Hey, yeah, Marvel Studios, I'm interested. Just throwing my name out there. I'm sure you're watching this video.
Man, I wonder sometimes though, because I've said it before, it's totally delusional. I know it's all in my head, but I did that last one, and you're totally right. I still was overacting, but I was kind of shooting for that on that reboot one that I did, because it was funny because I did that within a few days. They put out, they started releasing news of Rob Liefeld was doing all this stuff, and I know it had absolutely nothing to do with me, but I'm like, yeah, I caused that. That's right. Got him back on the ball. It's totally all in my head, but.
Yeah, like, I know all the fanboys really freaked out when you were like, what? The Devil Come movie was canceled? Oh God, what are we gonna do? They didn't say that. Like, nobody said that. Like, you're just like, there's been no news about it recently. I wonder if it's still going.
Yeah. Oh, and then on the Green Lantern video, too, because that was the joke in the Green Lantern video, was that it had, or that it had been canceled. So Green Lantern assumed that. And then even at the end of the video, I was like, no, it hasn't been canceled. We know that it's still on, guys. It's okay. And still, I got countless messages like, what? They canceled it? I was like,
I don't think people watch the videos all the way through.
Yeah, you left a comment like that too, didn't you?
Yeah.
I laughed when I saw that. I was like, thank you, Mike. Yeah. So lesson to you guys, watch them all the way to the end. Of course, we're, third or fourth video in, so who knows if you guys will make it that far.
I'm sure most of them have tuned out already.
Yeah.
So.
You'd be surprised, man. It blows my mind how many people make it all the way to the end of these ones. All right, so I'm off the numbered ones, the most voted, so we're just going to start going down the line here. So I'm pretty sure I wrote this wrong down. It's either Just Throw or Justin Throw. I guess he was one of the co-writers on Tropic Thunder and possibly one of the writers of Iron Man 2. I had Justin Throw. I had a bunch of different people like, oh yeah, he wrote Iron Man. I was like, he did? Thoughts on Justin Throw? Am I saying that right?
I have no idea, but basically, I absolutely love Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
Because it's a brilliant satire of the way that Hollywood works.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you could turn that into a Deadpool movie. Like, it unless Deadpool's hanging out in California, and I guess there could be a scene about him being aware that he's on a film studio or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that might be interesting, but it might be too early to put something like that in. But
yeah,
I have no idea. Like, I read the comment about saying he's working on Iron Man 2. I don't think he did work on Iron Man 1. I might be wrong about that. If you disagree with me, be sure to put a comment on this video.
Yeah, I'd like to. I think I'm just going to go ahead and set my precedent now. As long as Joe Kelly, Gail Simone, or someone who's really understands the character is working along with any of these people, like Justin Throw, I don't know if he knows the character. So as long as he's got someone there who can help him understand the character, I think I'd be okay with him doing it. Tropic Thunder was pretty funny.
And you can't really quite understand the character just from reading a couple of the comics too. You'd have to read them all.
Yeah, that's right, Daniel Way.
So much in it, that's Daniel Way picked up a few comics and then kind of went with it, and you can definitely tell in the beginning of his run.
Oh yeah. I don't know. We'll save this for our vlog when we'll rant on Daniel Way there. Yeah. So I won't delve into it. But yeah, totally you can tell that's exactly what happens. And I think literally 80% of these new writers who are writing Deadpool are just going to Daniel Way and go, oh hey, you understand him the best, obviously. How do I write him? Because I think so many of them are just copying off of Way's style. And I'm just like, no, don't. Look at Kelly. All right, next one we had was Richard Kelly. I have no idea who that is, and I'm halfway tempted to think maybe they meant Joe Kelly, but wrote Richard Kelly instead.
Yeah, I have no clue who Richard Kelly is.
Yeah, I have no notes on what he wrote, so they didn't follow the directions on that part. So if it was,
you guys lose.
Yeah. All right. The next one was whoever the person was who wrote Hulk Versus, which I should know their names because they do so many of their animated stuff. I think they actually do X-Men Evolution and the new Wolverine and the X-Men stuff.
I wasn't all about X-Men Evolution. I watched a few episodes of it, and it was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. I guess writing in that live action is a different medium than writing animation. So, because if you write something in animation, it can be done like that. Yeah. You just have to have someone who can draw it. But I guess with CGI, it's becoming easier to do stuff like that in live action. But Deadpool stole the show in Hulk vs. Wolverine.
Oh yeah. I call it Hulk versus Deadpool. I think I've only watched Hulk versus Thor once. Around him. But sorry, I couldn't hear that. Say that again.
I just call it Deadpool with other people around him. But but I don't know if that would be the best idea for the movie. Maybe another movie down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'll pass on that one.
Pass on that one? Okay. Ben Stiller. And they put in quotations, if he likes comics. Yeah. Yeah, guys, we're going to have a lot of really strange ones off the wall here, so.
Oh, Ben Stiller. I respect the guy. He's a good actor, but no.
Yeah, no, not for a Deadpool one.
No, I don't think Ben Stiller could write his way out of an action box. You might be able to write a little bit of a funny quip every now and then, but
yeah,
no. Yeah.
Of course, next we had Fabian Nizera, who was one of the somehow may have been one of the co-creators of Deadpool. He scripted the original one. Rob, of course, claims that he created it all, but he, of course, did the huge Cable Deadpool run. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so Rob Liefeld's a douchebag, but he did the entire run of Cable and Deadpool, and like I'd say that's easily his most consistent book.
Yeah.
So, and it's obvious because it only has one writer.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people got into Deadpool. Like I know I got into Deadpool and Cable and Deadpool.
Yeah.
And then backtracked and read the earlier stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I love that series so much. I'd be okay with doing it. My one complaint about Fabian was that he was the guy who introduced the Wade is crazy. I mean, a lot of guys had covered it before, but he was one who's like, no, and I think that was the comic that Daniel Wade did, that he read. Mm-hmm. Because, everyone used the text box and stuff. It wasn't so heavily used early on, and even Joe